Hi, welcome to Bipolar Boxing Picks. This is Nick. A quick rundown of the Nikita Krylov versus Ryan Spann UFC card. It's a pretty bad card, so I'm just gonna do the last four fights. But I guess technically, if you want to say the main card, it also includes Trevor Peek. I would take him just because he's from Alabama. I used to live in Alabama, and I would take Mike Malott. I saw his last fight, and he looked halfway decent. He's a good-looking guy from Canada. I think UFC is trying to push him. He trains with Alpha Male, so I don't think they're going to put him in against a guy he's going to lose to. So I think this is kind of like a mini showcase for the guy, and Mike Malott should win as well. But I just don't have much information on either of those guys or their opponents. So, but let's start off with the Tatiana Suarez fight. I know a lot about Tatiana Suarez, and I absolutely love this girl. I thought 4 years ago when she fought last, she was the best fighter in that weight class. I think she's better than Valentina Shevchenko. That's how high I am on her, and I think she beats her. I love that style. Even as a big boxing fan in MMA, I will take a great wrestler over a great striker almost any day of the week. It's just the way it works out a lot in MMA. But we'll wait to get there. But I think that fight happens sooner rather than later. I think it happens within the next year because this fight, I mean, Montana De La Rosa is going to pose no threat whatsoever to Montana or to Tatiana Suarez. Suarez is going to take her down at will. She's going to have a lot of top position in this fight. Montana De La Rosa's main thing is her grappling. It's going to be completely neutralized here because she's going to be on her back the whole fight. So it's going to be pretty easy for Suarez. I would say it's just a matter of what she wants to do. Like in boxing, we would say you been off, you got some ring rust, get some rounds in. I don't know if she wants to do that here. She could play it safe, take her down one time each round, hold her down, and get some rounds in, see where she's at or whatever. But she really doesn't have a threat of getting finished here, so she could do that if she wants. But I think she wants to make a statement here, and I think she definitely can get De La Rosa out of there. So I think she gets. I'm going to say a second round. Man, it's either going to be a submission or a knockout. I'm going to say a knockout by ground and pound. It's going to be on the ground as well, I believe. But I think it's going to be ground and pound. She's just going to beat her up too bad. She's going to have a lot of top position in the first round, I believe. And then the second round, she'll take her down very early. And then within like a couple of minutes or so, she will just, it'll be too much. And she'll get a ground and pound stoppage. So, second round stoppage for Tatiana Suarez. This next fight, this is how bad this card is. You got Augusto Sakai versus Dontel Mays, third fight from the top. These guys are not good heavyweights. Augusto Sakai's got some quality wins. He beat Blagoy Ivanov. That was his last win, I believe, but he's lost four in a row. So this is kind of a fight here. Dontel Mays is very fringe UFC talent. I don't think he's UFC talent, in my opinion. I can understand why they keep him on the roster because he's always got that puncher's chance. He's a very big guy, a very strong guy, but the skill's just not there. But the UFC division is just doesn't have a lot of heavyweights in there, a lot of good heavyweights. But Dontel Mays, he's going to get picked apart here for as long as the fight lasts, I think. Augusto Sakai's, he does have four losses in a row, but all those fighters were, I believe, top 10 guys. Besides Alistair Overeem was in there, so, losing to a guy like Overeem at any time in his career is not that bad. It's not that bad where you're talking Dontel Mays bad. So in Vegas has got this at Augusto Sakai minus 125. I like that as a bet. I like it a lot because, and it's just the Dontel Mays fate. I've never bet this guy. I never will. I didn't bet his last two fights because I didn't know who either one of his opponents were that he beat, but they definitely weren't UFC talent. So give me Augusto Sakai here. This fight, I know it's heavyweights, and you automatically think it's not going to a decision. This fight could go to a decision because Sakai, like in that win, no, it's the last win, he did outstrike Blago Ivanov, and Blago Ivanov's a good heavyweight. He's a guy he's pretty much just a top 15 guy. That's about as low as he can go as top 15. I think he's been in the top 10 before, but he's right around top 10 to 15. But he's a good striker, and he's just a very annoying fighter. And Augusto Sakai beat him, and it was a very boring fight, which means he fought Blago Ivanov's fight because it's boring, but he beat him. So if he could beat a guy of Blago Ivanov's tier, I believe he'll run through Dontel Mays as far as his striking. The fight's not going to hit the mat. Neither one of them like to go to the ground. Augusto Sakai's only problem is he stands there and bangs. Dontel Mays, if he catches him with one punch, it's going to be a one punch knockout. But I would say Dontel Mays would have to get it done very early. I'm just going to say I'm going to say Dontel Mays gets caught early, and I'm going to say first round knockout for Augusto Sakai. His technical striking is just a lot better. He throws straighter punches than Dontel Mays. Usually in that instance, it's whoever lands first with those heavyweights. Just give me Augusto Sakai to land first and knock him out. Next fight is a great fight between Andre Muniz and Brendan Allen. I am extremely high on Muniz. I don't think there's more than 3 or 4 guys that I would pick against him in the middleweight division. And I think he could be going up for a title shot because it's another one of those divisions in the UFC where they're running out of guys that I'm not saying he's better than certain people, but it's like they already got their shot. Guys like, I mean, Strickland just lost a Cannonier now too. Like, what do you do with him? But Strickland's right on the same level as Muniz. So I think that should be like Muniz's next fight here. I'm obviously picking Muniz here because I'm so high on him. But Brendan Allen, I don't think this is a good matchup for Muniz. I would think the way the UFC should be pushing Muniz so he can get a title fight. He's on an amazing win streak, and you kind of got him just have him win fights from here on out. And Brendan Allen's only 27 years old. It feels like we've been watching him forever. It feels like that Sam Alvey fight was forever ago. He's only 27 years old, and he's getting better. He's coming off the best win of his career against Krzysztof Jotko, and he's only lost to 2 guys in the UFC. I believe he's 8-2. He's only lost to 2 guys, and that was Sean Strickland, who's a phenomenal technical striker, and Chris Curtis, who's a very technical striker who trains alongside Sean Strickland. They fight the same way. They're very technical strikers, and they just outpoint you. They outwill you. They beat you up. They both got great cardio, and that's what they did. I mean, Strickland beat Brendan Allen pretty bad, but the way Brendan Allen got exposed in that fight by the striking of Strickland is not going to matter in this Muniz fight because Muniz is not going to sit there and pick him apart on the feet. So if you look at it from the other perspective, Brendan Allen's 8-0 against guys who are grapplers or whatever. He's just never lost to a grappler in the UFC. So that says something where that's just if you're in the game of let's make this an ugly fight, let's make this a grappling heavy fight, you could be playing into his hands. Muniz is going to be playing it into his hands, but I just think he's good enough. He's that great at grappling. He will be able to get this to the ground. And I think he submits Brendan Allen. I think he can submit him. I'm going to go with a second round submission, but I think he gets him to the ground. Even if he loses the first round, which I think is very possible, that Brendan Allen keeps it on the feet for the first round because Muniz is trying to feel him out, and he can't get the takedown in the first round. But in the second round, Muniz is going to have to go all out because I think the longer this fight stays standing, the better chance Brendan Allen has of winning. I do not think Muniz can win this fight standing up, either by knockout or decision. I don't see it happen against Brendan Allen. But I think it's one of those situations where I'm just going to give me the guy who's great at one thing, especially wrestling or grappling and MMA. When you're great at that, I tend to take those guys over somebody who's just good at everything. Give me the guy who's great at one thing over the guy that's good at everything. And in this case, Andre Muniz is a great grappler. So give me him by second round submission. Next fight is the main event, Nikita Krylov versus Ryan Spann. I've been high on Nikita Krylov his whole career as well. So I'm going to be picking Nikita Krylov here. It's just taking away my bias, it's still the fact that Nikita Krylov's better everywhere than Ryan Spann is. The only place he might not be better than him at is one punch KO ability, I guess. And Spawn's got a good fighting team. He trains at Fortis MMA over there. He's got some good wins on his career. He's got good losses on his career too. He looked really bad in the Anthony Smith fight, but as far as the caliber of fighters, Anthony Smith, and so he lost to two top 10 guys at light heavyweight. Those are his only losses, I believe, in the UFC. But Nikita Krylov, like I said, he's better everywhere than him, and he's a bigger, stronger guy than him. Nikita Krylov did good at heavyweight. He fought. I remember when he knocked out my boy Walt Harris with a head kick, and then I think it was in like the first 30 seconds of the fight. I was big on Walt Harris because I was living in Birmingham, Alabama at the time, and that's where he's from. And it was Walt Harris's debut, I believe, and he got head kicked in like 30 seconds by Krylov, who was fighting at heavyweight at that time, obviously. But so he could stop, a guy like Walt Harris. So what do you think he's going to do to Ryan Spann? I don't like to do MMA math, but I'm just saying he's got one punch KO ability too. But as far as technical striking, he's far better on the feet than Ryan Spann. He's a much better wrestler. I mean, Ryan Spann, I believe, I don't remember if I saw the Smith fight or not, but I think I saw it, and Smith dominated him on the ground, I think. And I remember because I was like, what is Anthony Smith doing? But apparently he saw something. So, like, that's the blueprint to beat Ryan Spann. Guess what Nikita Krylov added to his tool bag within the last couple of years? He can take people down. I think he did it against Volkan Ozdemir, because that was a fight where Volkan Ozdemir is a very good stand-up fighter as well. So it was just like, hey, guess what? I'll take you down. I'll play it safe. This fight should be more of the same. I could see Nikita Krylov just taking down Ryan Spann at will, because he's gonna be able to set up his takedowns, because he's not gonna be afraid. He's not gonna be afraid of Ryan Spann taking him down on the other end. And he's also a superior striker, in my opinion, than Ryan Spann. So I think it's just anywhere this fight goes, Krylov's got it. I mean, I think the three most popular ways this fight could end for me are, I would say, Krylov by knockout, then Krylov by submission, and then Krylov by decision. And then the other ones would all be the way Ryan Spann wins. But those are the three things that I see happening before Ryan Spann wins anyway. And Ryan Spann's only way to win really is a knockout, and it's probably going to have to be early, because if this thing gets into the later rounds, it's probably going to be because Nikita Krylov's taking him down a time or two. And if he gets Ryan Spann down and holds him down, those guys at the bigger weight classes, they're going to gas. This is a 5-round fight, and I just think Nikita Krylov, just get the takedown. Just get the takedown, the guy will gas out. He's not going to have power to put you away late, and you can play it safe. So I'm going to go with a stoppage, but I'm going to say it's later on in the fight, like 3.5 round, like if that's the over under, I would say like that's what I would set it at, because that's right around the time where I'm thinking he's going to stop him, is like right in the third round. So we'll go with Nikita Krylov by knockout in the third round, and I think it's going to be a ground and pound stoppage. I really don't see this fight going Spawn's way. It's going to be whatever Krylov wants to do, really. I could see him outpointing him for 5 rounds too. But yeah, I see big things going on for Nikita Krylov in this division, because this is another division where there's been, all the names have just been run through the mud, and you can't keep giving guys like Anthony Smith shots at the title and stuff like that. Give a fresh guy a shot. Nikita Krylov, his resume might not say it, but now if he gets this win, he'll have 3 wins in a row. You get him 1 or 2 more, and then you can start putting him in there against the guy in the top 5. And hopefully we'll be seeing, I mean, if he wins all of his fights, he could be fighting for a title within a year or two. That's how fast-track guys, like, some people may not even know who Nikita Krylov is, for Christ's sake, but he's only a couple fights away from getting a title shot, I'm telling you. This 205 division it's wide open with all those names up at the top. All you have to do is put him in against one of those guys, And just from my speaking, like he's another guy. I don't think I can name three or four names at 205 that I would pick to beat Nikita Krylov. I wouldn't. I love his style and the fact that he added his ground game. I love it because I'll pick that guy on the feet over pretty much anybody. And if he fights a guy like Yuri Prohatska, he might not be better than him on the feet, but he can definitely take Prohatska down. So I love Nikita Krylov. I think he could be a future champion easily at 120 or 205. But let's get it done here. Just get an easy win over Ryan Spann. Third round knockout. You guys enjoy.